Hi, my name is Brad Heller, and I want to welcome you to the Heller Approach YouTube channel. It's been a while since I've had the opportunity to do more of these videos, so I'm very pleased to be able to put more of them up on the net. The school has been going just so well. Classes have been packed. I have fortunately been working as an actor quite frequently and, using the tools that I teach in the actual business is a wonderful opportunity. And this is actually what has kept me from being able to do more of the videos. But I am back and have some time, so I wanted to make sure that I did some more to give back to you, to you guys, just because I feel like the tools are very important for an actor to be able to pursue his or her craft. So today, what did I want to talk about? I think one of the main things that I wanted to cover today is a question that I get from a number of students when they study with me. I frequently have somebody who will approach me and say, and this could be, by the way, this could be either here locally in Los Angeles, it could also be in another country, another state, and they ask me, how do I break into the industry? How do I break into the business? Well, it's not a simple question, so it does require me to cover some particular issues. I think one thing that we need to look at before you actually attempt to break in, as they say, you got to make sure that your craft is ready. So whether you're studying with me or studying with somebody else, you got to make sure that your acting is amazing before you decide to take that leap. Now, there are very specific steps in actually how to break in. The first thing, assuming that your craft is now ready, you've been going to class, you've been practicing in the other videos that you have seen me do maybe. I have discussed things, about how acting is built on muscle memory, it's built on overlearning, and we have to repeatedly practice so that when auditions come our way, we can go ahead and hit a home run. So, assuming that your craft is now ready, what do we do now? Well, the very first thing that you're going to want to do, because I have, in fact, before I move on, I do have people who actually come to Los Angeles and for some reason they have to move back. And now they're in this small little city and they say, look, I have all this great training, but I don't know what to do now. So the very first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start small. It's kind of like swimming in the baby pool before you get into the big pool. The very first thing that you might want to explore doing is doing some student films. Student films are a great way for you to kind of get experience working on a set. Also, a great place for you to go ahead and make mistakes. Not that you will, but it's a good place where you can make mistakes and nobody's going to really hear about it. It's also a great place if you're doing great work for you to start making contacts. So starting in the student film world is a great way for you to get your acting career going. If I might suggest one other thing before you actually delve into doing student films, if you are somebody who is really new, another great thing to do is for you to do some local theater. Local theater is a great place for you to go ahead and get seasoned and experienced in what it's like to have to perform on command in front of people where you're going to be nervous, where you can make mistakes. And the beauty of theater is that it's not permanent. With the advent of the internet now, with the advent of so many people making films with their phones, with their little cameras, everything can be loaded up on the internet. So what we wouldn't want to do is make sure, is go start auditioning for stuff, even for a student film, if you haven't had any experience, because those things could haunt you 10 years from now. People can look it up and say, hey, I saw you in that student film. You were not good. And we don't want that to happen. So let's make sure before you even do the student films, what I might suggest is doing some local theater. Get out there, go ahead and practice your craft in a place where it's not permanent, where you can make mistakes and nobody's going to see it 10 years from now because it's gone. All right, assuming you've done some plays, what's next? And then we do the student film route. how do I find student films? It's quite simple. Just call your local university, call your junior college, your four-year institution. Ask them, please put me in touch with or give me the phone number for your film school. Call the film school, and you're going to find that a lot of the students who are making movies there, they need actors. You are the one to give them a call and just go ahead and ask them, well, they're looking for actors. How do I actually audition for those roles? You can also actually go to the film department at the school and go ahead and look in their lobby. Believe it or not, a lot of these people who are making these student films, they will post things in the lobby of I'm shooting a little project. I need actors, and you'll write down the phone number, give them a call, and then you'll be able to audition for these things. There are proactive ways for you to get your career going, even in the student film world. The beauty of doing student films also is it's a way for you to start not only getting experience, a way for you to start getting footage of you acting. Because eventually down the line, what's going to happen is you're going to be saying, I need to get an agent. An agent, most of the time, at least in Los Angeles, at least a quality agent is going to ask to see your demo reel. Demo reel being comprised of different little clips and pieces from different projects you've done. Where do I get these clips? Well, you've been doing student films. You're going to pull little clips from the projects you've done. You're going to put them all together, create a 2 to 3 minute sample reel of your acting. And by the time that you are actually ready to audition for the real stuff and getting a real good agent, you'll have something to present to them. So you're kind of killing two birds with one stone that way. Okay, so now here you are. You've done your student films. You've got some footage. Now it's like, okay, I've been doing this for a little while now. And what's a little while? I would say you're going to probably want to do student films, a good 6 months to a year. What's next? The next thing that I would suggest you do is start trying to get an agent. Now, I would not recommend that you start by getting an agent who's going to set you up with auditioning for the head of Warner Brothers Casting. What I might suggest is starting small. Let's try and get a commercial agent. Commercials are great because they pay. That's one great thing, is that you're going to actually make some money. But the other cool thing, at least in Los Angeles, about the commercial world is that it's a very separate entity. You can go and do commercials, and again, you can make mistakes. You can also do great work, but it's its own universe. It's its own world. And so the people who are casting the big quality movies and TV shows, they're probably not going to hear about your work in the commercial world. So it's a way for you to make money. It's a way for you to start working with seasoned professionals, because a lot of people who are making commercials are also making TV shows and films. Finally, after doing commercials, auditioning for them, practicing auditions, booking jobs, hopefully, finally, after that's said and done, then you can start getting your theatrical and your film and television agent. There's a whole game plan to this process. You've got to remember that being an actor it's called show business for a reason, because you are basically the CEO of a corporation, and the corporation is you. Your job is to run this company, and how do I move this company forward and make it productive and accomplish the things that need to be accomplished? Well, the only person who can make those adjustments and get your company to move forward is you. So making sure that you have an accurate game plan of what you do from day to day to perfect and hone your skills as an actor, and then also in order to start accomplishing and moving forward with the business side of acting, make sure you have some kind of a game plan. One other thing I wanted to talk about with regards to the actual business. A lot of people ask me about headshots and resumes. I've covered this particular topic in some of my other videos briefly. I just want to touch on this real quick. Make sure that when you get a photo, two things. One, make sure that your headshot actually looks like you. I don't recommend that you go in and have your photographer make you look so much hotter than you are in person. Look, you may be an attractive person, but we don't want you to make this picture look beautiful and elegant, and then you walk in the room and the casting director looks at the picture and looks at you and goes, "Who's this person?" We got to make sure that you are representing you with the picture, okay? Number one. Number two, make sure that your picture actually covers your casting. In other words, if I am a guy who normally is going to play kind of like a quirky, maybe friend of the leading hero, I'm not necessarily going to want to make my headshot make me look like I'm the Marlboro Man, like some leading man hero if I look dorky. It's not, look, you may have a pretty picture which you can send to your family, but it's not going to get you work. It may even get you called in the room, but when you walk in there and you don't look anything like your picture, the casting director may get so annoyed that they may never even call you in again. So make sure that your picture looks like you. Also, when selecting a photographer, look, every city has their own sort of group of photographers. Make sure that you get a vibe of what the pictures look like where you live. Look, you may come to Los Angeles and get a photographer who looks very edgy and current and hip, and then you go to another country or go to the Midwest, and maybe the style of the photo may have a different vibe. And if everybody's got these photos that have a certain kind of quality, you're going to want to make sure that the photos that you use kind of suit the style that seems to be happening in your neck of the woods. I mean, I have students who I teach globally. Some people I teach in Moscow, on Skype, as you know, or in Argentina, or in Spain. And I look at their pictures, and there is a slight different vibe from the headshots that I see in different countries versus here in Los Angeles. So just be aware and make sure you use a good one. The photo is your business card. It's your representation of you. So, I know sometimes it can be costly to go ahead and, hire a photographer, but it's the one investment that I would suggest that you don't necessarily cut corners on. Being a photographer, a headshot photographer, it's an art, just like being an actor is. And if you can find somebody who takes great pictures and they've been doing it for 20, 30 years versus finding a cousin who's got a nice camera who doesn't know really what he or she is doing, look, you might, happen upon a good photo that way. But I would also encourage you to not, necessarily limit yourself to just that by saving a few bucks. Your resume. Make sure that your resume also fits the style of where you live. Resumes here in Los Angeles have a very different quality, a different vibe, a different layout versus resumes I've seen in other big cities or countries. You're going to want to make sure that you do a little research to make sure that your resume doesn't stand out as looking weird when you submit. As far as where you actually submit, I do want to also tap into there. Look, people call me and email me, where do I get auditions? When it's time for you to audition, yes, you'll be trying to get an agent, but there are other places that you can go. Just go into Google in your local city and put in Google acting jobs in Pennsylvania, acting jobs in Houston. And there will be so many places that you can click on in Google of places that are looking for actors to work in their gigs. Backstage is a great magazine that's national that you can use. The Actors Access is another great place, actorsaccess.com, excuse me. You can go there and submit that way too. So I hope that this has been informative for you and has maybe inspired you to kind of get out there and start working on your craft and getting into the business. I also wanted to touch on, sometimes I'm getting these comments from people who write me after seeing the videos, and as I've said before, I like to kind of touch on a couple of the questions that people will write me. So let me just bring this one up here before we wrap this up. I have a question here from, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Nishant Achara. The comment, thank you for the videos. I have a request. Can you upload a video on how to act realistically? Look, in order to communicate to you what acting is realistically, you've got to tap into the principles of what I've talked about in the other videos, which is having an objective and emotion, concentrating, focusing on honesty and truth. There is a technique, you know, and if you go back to my videos and it talks about creating behavior in a character and then learning how to execute it to keep it honest, hopefully that will be informative to you so that when you're acting your scenes, you focus on honesty and truth and not coming up with maybe, say, trying to be clever or, you know, creative in your moments at the expense of honesty and truth. I would impress upon you to make sure that it's clear to you what acting really is. It's the ability to be honest and truthful given the circumstances that you are in the scene that you're playing. It's not about getting up and doing stuff. It's about keeping it honest and behaving as a human being on earth behaves. That is so important because if you do that, your audience can connect and relate to you. And they need that. They need to be able to see you and go, hey, that reminds me of me or somebody I know. Here's one other question I wanted to tap into. This is a person who saw my videos from Argentina. Best teacher on the web. I follow you from Argentina. Thank you, 𝗖𝗹𝗹. I appreciate that. I would like you to help me with a problem I have when I act. That is the overacting. How to control that. I hope an answer or video explaining that. That would tap back into what I was just talking about, is making sure that you have an objective. Making sure that you have something that you're trying to accomplish in the scene as the character. My objective right now is to teach you. And that's what I'm thinking in a sense as I'm talking to camera. I'm trying to teach you or make you see something. And that's what induces me to speak. To keep you from overacting. Because overacting is really you just thinking about what you look like and how you sound and making sure that you look right or sound right in the scene rather than just being the guy or girl. So in order to help you, to prevent you from overacting, as you say, make sure you have a very specific objective of what you're trying to accomplish and remind yourself to continue to try and accomplish and get that thing, that objective. If you don't know what an objective is, please refer to one of my other videos because I do talk exactly about how to play an objective. I appreciate all of the people who have written in and have thanked me for the videos and have found them helpful. If you can come to our classes in Los Angeles, that's wonderful. If you can sign up for a Skype lesson or two, you can do that as well. If you're not able to do that, some of you may know that I am a person who is very passionate about animals of all things. And if you would be kind enough to show your support by maybe making a small donation to one of your local charities to prevent cruelty to animals. There's the Amanda Foundation. There's also ASPCA, two charities which I donate to. That would be a great way for you to thank me for the videos. So that would be something that would be really cool. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful to you. I'm back. You'll be seeing more videos now that I am here in town. If you haven't, please subscribe to our 𝗖𝗹𝗹 channel on YouTube. You can follow us at the 𝗖𝗹𝗹 on Twitter or like us on Facebook at the 𝗖𝗹𝗹. If you have any other further questions or issues or want to do some research, you can also go to our website, 𝗖𝗹𝗹.com. And until our next video, it was a pleasure, communicating and speaking with you all. Keep acting.